this emergency meeting of the West Virginia Board of Education to order. If you'd please rise as we're led in the Pledge of Allegiance by our attorney.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Nancy.
It's been moved by Ms. White.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wooten. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and back up and call the roll to make sure that we have established a quorum. Starting with Mr. Stansberry, Mr. Wooten,
Here.
Mr. Rotruck,
Here.
Mr. Gabriel, Ms. White,
Yes, I'm present. Thank you.
Mr. Dunleavy,
I heard his voice earlier, so he may have not be able to unmute.
ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll hope to get these worked out shortly.
This is Bob Dunleavy, IMS.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let Ms. Justice. Okay, let the record reflect that Mr. Wooten, Mr. Rotruck, Mr. Dunleavy, Ms. White, and myself being five to constitute a quorum of this board. And if anyone else joins, we will let you know. But for the record, we do have a majority of this board in this emergency meeting, so we will proceed and go forward. Next on the agenda is new business. Hancock County Schools Report, Mr. Kelly and Mr. Cummings. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Blatt. We've been asked to present information regarding imminent material financial shortfalls present in the Hancock County school system that pose an immediate threat to the ongoing operation of the schools in Hancock County. West Virginia Department of Education has been supporting Hancock County schools and conducting continuous financial monitoring, inclusive of but not limited to cash flow projections, student enrollment and hope impact analysis, restoring fiscal balance through staffing season planning. Hancock County Schools' financial situation has escalated from a monitored concern to a fiscal emergency. As conditions deteriorated, The district formally requested emergency state aid to meet payroll obligations. I'll add that throughout the monitoring process, the department has engaged with stakeholders by presenting at a Hancock County board meeting recently, responding to citizen concerns and emphasizing a need for transparency and decisive corrective action. And at this time, I will give way to Mr. Cummings, our school finance officer, for more detailed information on Hancock County schools. Minus any questions, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Just going to provide a summary this morning of some of the ongoings that we've experienced here over the past couple of months with Hancock County Schools. Before I'd like to get started on that, I just want to kind of provide a brief history of the needs and assistance that we've provided to Hancock County Schools over the past few years. Just as a summary, Hancock County Board of Education, as of this October, has been placed on needs assistance for finance for 3 consecutive years. Prior to this time frame, there was nothing to suggest fiscal issues in the county. There have been some red flags here and there due to timeliness of reports and so forth, but nothing to suggest major concerns. And I think it should be noted that the county has always had a fairly clean audit report on the county's audited financial statements that we receive from the district. Just for the board's knowledge, county boards who are placed on needs assistance for financial purposes receive a detailed email annual or monthly that compare budget data to actual expenditures. They are required to submit responses to those emails in which Hancock County Schools has not submitted a response to over this 3-year period, as other counties have responded to those. Really, the first knowledge of ours that there was a real financial crisis came in September. I received a call from their CSBO and superintendent noting the fact that they were not going to meet payroll in September unless there was either a state aid advance or some other action to take place. At that time, I believe we were 3 or 4 days out from them making a payroll, which would not be enough time for us to do any sort of advance of state aid in order for them to meet that payroll. They had thrown out an idea of potentially shifting funds from the CTE Center to the board coffers in order to cover that payroll. I had advised them, some of the significant issues that could occur with that at that time, but at the time that they needed to make the decision that they were most comfortable moving forward with, due to the fact that there was not going to be enough time to advance state aid to cover that payroll. It's my understanding that they did make that transfer from the CTE Center to the county central office coffers to be able to cover that payroll, and have since transferred those funds back to the CTE Center. I brought that information to Mr. Kelly, and we had a call with the county immediately the very next day to discuss the issues that were going on in Hancock County Schools. Most notably, the fact that whenever we dove into the numbers, the county was operating at about 140 positions over formula in both fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26. The cost of operating that many personnel over formula is approximately $10 million in each of those fiscal years. Among other things, that's centered around that conversation. Also, the fact that there have been numerous construction projects going on in the county, specifically sports-related projects, including a turf lease that they now have obligations to pay those debts off annually, as well as the fact that they overspent on a construction project that was going on at Weir High by almost a little over $1 million. All of those lead to about an increase of approximately $8 million in expenditures from FY24 to FY25. Coincidentally enough, we just received their unaudited financial statements on January 6th, And that is about the difference in the decrease in fund balance the county has experienced, going from approximately $5.5 million in fund balance in FY '24 to now a projected $2 million deficit in FY '25, with the fact that those figures still need to be audited by an independent audit firm. So that kind of gives a summary of the fiscal picture. We've had ongoing meetings with their staff since September, including a monthly meeting with all administration that are responsible for the fiscal ongoings of the county.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cummings, for that report. It's my understanding that the superintendent of Hancock County Schools wants to make a statement to this board. Mr. Enoch. I think he joins us also via Zoom. Little bit of business here, Mr. Enoch. You get 5 minutes to make your pitch to this board, considering your situation in Hancock County, and the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I appreciate time. I appreciate.
We're getting a lot of feedback. Michelle, you need to mute the team in the boardroom. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Enoch.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to express my gratitude to the West Virginia Board of Education for affording me the opportunity to speak today on behalf of Hancock County Schools. Mr. Cummings and Mr. Kelly have been a great asset to our team when we realized this in Hancock County with the fiscal issues. I'm well aware that this has happened under my watch, but would like to add that the what I estimate as being the decades-long problem was identified and eliminated under my watch, and want to be the first ones to fix it with a help and assistance of the Board of Education and any assistance that can be provided our way. Mr. Cummings noted that around September, we did make the call where I directed my CFO upon him telling me that we were having fiscal issues with payroll. That was the first notification on my part. We were receiving data and financial information that did not depict the dire need, the dire situation that Mr. Cummings spoke about, which is true. We felt that, it was a systematic failure. So basically, on that day in September, I directed him to call Mr. Cummings, and we acted to make payroll, and then turned it over to various meetings and teams meetings with that group that we've been doing. So I think that one of the reasons, and we've been working with Mr. Davis and the Educational Consultants Group since that time in mid-October, when the realization has happened, and I had to make a decision to make a transition in the finance department. And what I have heard and learned along the way was that by not using the full capabilities of the systems in place led to the inability to project the deficit and shortfalls expected to increase. At that time, he was telling me to increase in FY '26. So digging deeper, the capabilities and the projections and all of that were being made basically by one individual that was doing it without data research or projection tools that are provided by Weavis. We have been striving to be fiscally transparent, and I'm providing factual information when it becomes available to me to our staffs, because our staffs are very concerned, as they should be. And what I wanted to express to them is I could not give them information that was not accurate. But, I wanted to give to them when I had it and it was factual, and usually that would come from Mr. Davis, Mr. Cummings, or the group meetings that we've had. In my mind, the only thing that matters is payroll. At this time, at the immediate times, I cannot let the staffs of Hancock County down with the payroll situation. That's why I sought help, and directly that would affect many students. We addressed the lateness of reports and the NA needs assistant issues and in a discipline letter, and the accountability on that part was executed by me. Since that time, we've been threading the needle and always making sure that the staffs and the students come first. I understand the options that come with the emergency situation that we have. With that, I know that we have a great working relationship with Mr. Cummings, Mr. Davis, Mr. Kelly, and the Dr. Blatt. And I feel that in retrospect, the issues that have come up would be a viable solution would be to carry on with the current administration and how it is, and to carry out the steps and procedures that we have been doing since Mr. Cummings and Mr. Kelly have come aboard and has guided us expertly through this situation. We have been doing everything that the board, Mr. Cummings and the teams group has said. We've used all the tools and resources. I have an interim financial director that is very quickly has adapted to the WEVA system and the projections and everything that she has learned through Mr. Davis. We obviously need the February. January is not a problem, and I had sent Dr. Blatt a email concerning the February shortfall, and that is my request still. I appreciate everything that she has done in relation to our county, but I want to emphasize that the model, and I think Mr. Cummings and Mr. Kelly would agree that the model in place right now going forward, doing the issues and the items that are needed to get us over this hump, do the stop gaps, bridge the gap, and go forward in place right now will get us all the way through the end of this, including RIF transfer season, where we estimate that we will make cuts that will equal in the area of $8 million. When Mr. Smith and I came about 2 years ago, we had a 4-year contract, and we conferred with the CFO of Hancock County Schools. And, at the time it was a 91 employee over formula. And our projection and our plan was to do 25 each year for 4 years. And that was projected and okayed by our CFO. And I would like to add before that, the 10 years before that in Hancock County Schools, even through the COVID issues and the COVID money, there was zero reduction in force in our county during that time period, which led us to this problem. And that was our solution to try to do it. It was not aggressive enough. We admitted that. We admitted that publicly in numerous board meetings and our updates in the board meetings. So I appreciate the fact that we tried that scenario, and that was based on a projection. In regard to the problem.
I'm going to stop you right there. I've allowed you
Yes, sir.
to go on for 3 additional minutes. I think we've got the gist of what you're trying to say.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine, but that's, I think we've got a pretty good idea of what you're trying to tell this board about the situation you have. I got a couple questions for you, and I want very brief answers. I don't want dissertations. You started in March of 23, is that correct?
July 1, 3.
July 1 of 23?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You talked about your plan for rifts and transfers. I'm looking at the rifts and transfers. I'm looking at the number over formula through that period. That plan never came close to going into fruition. You're 140 people over today. You all have escalated and grew your overage by significant amounts. There's been nothing done with regards to rifts and transfers in Hancock County. I find it also troubling that Mr. Cummings tells us that you've taken on projects such as turf and projects at Weir High when you obviously did not have the money to do so. I've also been doing some research. You all have got a bond issue going on in your county to where those bond payments are going to pay that bond, and that money would have normally came to your school system. Is that correct?
Yes, we do have a bond issue going on right now.
Is it in fact true that those bond payments, money going out of your county, is money that would have stayed in your direct coffers in Hancock County?
I have,
It's just a yes or no answer.
I'm not sure about that. Be honest with you, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, well, we're good on that. I was just looking in, trying to find out as much intel on Hancock County as I could find. I'm very troubled by the fact that the audits that are done in the last 3 years in Hancock County reflect and say that everything's fine. I just don't know how that can possibly be happening. And what I would ask is our finance department to find out who has done the last 3 audits in Hancock County, whatever that outside firm is, bring them to Charleston and have them explain to you how they arrived at their findings that the finances are good in Hancock County, because, obviously they are not. This board's faced with a tough decision. We do not like to sit in this position of always being the bad guy, but we have to operate by the code of West Virginia and how the laws of this state work. That's something we have to do, and we will do, and we will continue to do. I want to send a message to the employees of Hancock County School System. I've had a lot of people contact me where the employees are scared to death that they're not going to receive their pay. Nothing could be further from the truth. They will receive their pay. We have to pay them. We will find a way to pay them. There's a lot of people, including the legislature, that is working on a solution as we speak to try to do a long-term fix in Hancock County. I don't want to be one person to say that I told you so, and I'm not trying to do that, but people have heard me sit in this chair for years now, begging people not to take ESSER funds and fund positions because that money was going to run out. Ladies and gentlemen, Hancock County and the malfeasance of the administration is a direct reflection on what has happened with regards to people that continue to use ESSER funding when ESSER funding had run out. I don't know any other way to put it. It's about as plain as I can put it. I'm not trying to lay blame, but the facts are what they are. And it's very sad that we're in the situation we're in here today. Council, do you have a recommendation?
Only if, I don't know if the board needs to go into executive session, but if you do, I can recommend a motion on that. If you don't, then we don't need to address
I
that.
see no need to go on executive session. I think we ought to air the people's business in public. I've got nothing to hide. Council, do you have a recommendation?
I believe the state superintendent has a recommendation with regard to the circumstances in Hancock County.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent Blatt.
Yes, I would recommend that the state board finds, based upon the information from the WVDE's Office of School Finance, that extraordinary circumstances do exist in Hancock County schools. That the state board assign a non-approval status to Hancock County schools and declare a state of emergency exists in Hancock County schools based upon the information that has been presented. Recommend that the state board find the conditions precedent to state board intervention in a county school system do exist, and delaying the intervention would not be in the best interest of the students or the staff of Hancock County schools. That the state board find that the county board failed to act on a statutory obligation which will imminently interrupt the day-to-day operations of the school system. Recommend that the state board limit the authority of the county board in areas that compromise the delivery of a thorough and efficient education to its students as designated by the state board by rule, which may include delegating decision-making authority regarding these matters to the state superintendent. That the state board declare the office of the county superintendent of Hancock County Schools to be vacant at the end of the business day, 4 p.m. on January 16th, 2026, and that any existing contracts be voided if necessary. Recommend that the state board appoint Walter Saunders to be the superintendent of Hancock County Schools starting at 4:01 p.m. on January 16th, 2026, at a salary to be determined by the state superintendent. That the state board declare the positions of personnel who serve at the will and pleasure of county superintendent to be vacant on January 16th, 2026 at 4 p.m., and that any existing contracts be voided if necessary. The state board declare the position of the assistant superintendent of Hancock County Schools to be vacant and any existing contracts voided starting at 4:01 p.m. on January 16th, and that such position shall not be filled or replaced in order to conserve resources. That the state board allow the WVDE to provide the additional support to assist the superintendent of Hancock County Schools and staff to address the deficiencies in the operation of the school system. Recommend that the state board delegate to the state superintendent the authority to fill positions of administrators and principals with individuals determined by the state superintendent to be the most qualified in those positions. The state board grant the state superintendent the authority to take action necessary to correct the extraordinary circumstances. The state board limit the authority of the Hancock County Board of Education as to the expenditure of funds for purchases, the establishment of instructional programs, the operation of federal programs, the delivery and operation of special education, the establishment of policies, county board governance, and operational relations, and any other areas designated by the state board by rule, and delegate decision-making authority to the state superintendent regarding these matters. The state board delegate to the state superintendent or his or her designee the authority to conduct hearings on personnel matters, the referral of investigations to other agencies as necessary, amendment of the comprehensive education facility plan, school closure or consolidation matters, and subsequently to render the resulting decisions, and the authority to appoint a designee for the limited purpose of conducting hearings while reserving to the state superintendent the authority to render the resulting decision if needed. Recommend that the state board limit the authority of Hancock County Board of Education as to the ability to conduct real estate transactions, and delegate to the state superintendent the authority to act in lieu of Hancock County Schools in a transfer, sale, purchase, or other transaction regarding real estate. The state board delegate to the state superintendent the authority to replace administrators and principals in low-performing schools and to transfer them to alternate professional positions within the county at her discretion. Delegate to the state superintendent the authority to fill positions of administrators and principals with individuals determined to be the most qualified for those positions. The state board direct the Hancock County superintendent and the state superintendent, after consultation with the Hancock County Board of Education, to jointly develop and present to the state board at a future meeting a set of standards and/or a strategic plan that must be implemented in order for the Hancock County Board of Education to regain control of the school system. And that the state board direct the Hancock County superintendent to provide written and/or oral progress reports to the state board as often as requested. That concludes the recommendations.
You have heard the recommendation from State Superintendent Blatt. Is there a motion to approve the?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Wooten.
I'll second the motion, this is Nancy.
It's been seconded by Ms. White. All in favor will signify by saying aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. The next meeting of this Board of Education will be February 11th, 2026, here in Charleston, West Virginia. If there's no further business to come before this board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Dunleavy, second by Mr. Wooten. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.